What up, Bagsful family? Welcome to another episode of Rookie Mondays. We got a lot to talk about because it's getting spicy out there in the world. How? Because crypto is collapsing in front of our face. I know we gave you an update last week, but little did we know there was way more to talk about. Like, it got worse. It literally got worse, yo. See, I have to hear this, as well as the fact that is Donald Trump coming back in the office? Yo, bro, it's about to, listen. And then on top of that, the economy is collapsing before our eyes. It looks like Amazon has some crazy news that came out that we're going to put you on to. But first thing is first, let's talk about crypto, bro, please.
Yeah, so we gave you guys updates last week, and there was more stuff that happened. So we're just going to dive right in. I'm going to do the same thing where I share my screen, give you guys a breakdown, and then everything we actually share on screen, you will have in the description below as well. So you can read at it at your own time as well. So let's just dive right in, bro. So this man right here, Sam Bankman-Fried, right? So we all know that FTX was going down, okay? He was the founder of FTX, but he was also a founder of a hedge fund called Alameda, right? So basically, this is what actually transpired, and it gets worse and worse every single day, basically. So what had happened was that Sam Bankman-Fried was basically taking funds away from FTX and giving it to his hedge fund. Now, that is not legal. If it sounds crazy, it is because it is crazy, guys. Like, you have to think about it, right? When a company like FTX, exchange fund, is there, if it's private, it's not really getting audited as much as public companies like Coinbase are, right? So in this case, right here, many employees and outside auditors were unaware that FTX did not have enough money to match customer withdrawals. So you know how basically when Binance came out and we were putting you guys on that Binance might come and help FTX if the books are clean? Well, the books were not clean because the balance sheet made no sense. A lot of the money from FTX was going into Alameda. And what had happened is actually he ended up shutting down both, right? So this is a crazy thing. If you actually keep on, scrolling and reading through the article, definitely do so. We want to just highlight a couple of points. This right here, in the last week, FTX has crashed 32 billion cryptocurrency into actual bankruptcy. That's insane, right? And then $477 million are basically missing. Just think about that for a sec. That much money is literally missing, bro. There's a blurred line between FTX and Alameda Research. What do you think that meant, right? Like, that basically means that liquidity is going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. Everyone was pulling their money out. It came down to the point where they only had one Bitcoin left, and then we all see what's happening now. So that then ends up hurting other exchanges. BlockFi, that's another crypto exchange. Literally, crypto lender BlockFi says it has significant exposure to FTX. So right here, direct quote, "We do have significant exposure to FTX and associated corporate entities that encompass obligations owed to us by Alameda, which is a hedge fund, that assets held at FTX.com, and then undrawn amounts from our credit line with FTX US." Remember, FTX.com and FTX US are different. One is global, one is US. They're both being impacted right now, right? So there's a lot that's going on, and this is not good for crypto. So what do we think is going to happen right now, Rel? You want to put them on?
Yeah, so what's going to happen right now is crypto is going to be reset. This is the great reset of crypto. Like, we actually thought a lot of it has happened, but little do we know there's more damage to do. And a lot of people are going to run away from crypto at this point. And this is where you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, do I really believe in this asset class? And you have to really thoroughly think about the impacts that the crypto technology can have on the world. And does the world need it, or will the world move on without it? And so if you are a strong believer in this technology, this is where you actually double down. But you can't just double down at any price. You don't want to catch a falling knife. There's a lot of downside coming to these coins, right? So like there's price levels that...
Wait. Are we giving them price levels? Is that what we're doing right now? We want to bless them like that?
You think they deserve something like that, bro?
Oh, no. Wait. If y'all want the price levels, we're going to give it to you, actually. But can you guys please make sure you like this video right now. Just do us a favor because a lot of research goes into this video, and Rel's about to bless you right now. So I'm gonna let you take it over. Just had to say that though.
So for me personally, I'm not looking to touch Bitcoin anywhere above $12,500. All right, so I can see Bitcoin coming down to 12,005. Under that, I can see it now going to 10,500. And if we break 10,500, I wouldn't be looking to touch Bitcoin again until it hits 6K. And so at that point,
just think about the price it was at, and now we're saying 6K.
It was at $69,000 last fall. A year later, it could potentially be at 6. So that just shows you what's really going on when you have an asset class that's severely corrupted by bigger money, and then when it gets reset and we need regulation, now you get all your assets on discount. And so now you, like I said, make that decision, because if not, then you might as well sell your cryptos right now, because it definitely has more downside. And and let me just say one more thing about like Ethereum too. For Ethereum, because ultimately, I only believe in those two right now in this great reset. That's it. So Ethereum, I wouldn't be looking to touch Ethereum until it hits $850. And under that, I can see Ethereum going to as low as 400.
Yep.
So
that's obviously crazy. If you really think about it, right? Like the levels that we saw, that we were just saying this before recording, when you were copping at like 1,200, you would think you're getting a discounted price. No one expected this to happen with FTX. And like they had sponsors like Tom Brady, Steph Curry, they had BlackRock, they had a bunch of different institutions behind them. So everyone thought it was a great thing. And then this happened. And now when crypto's falling, as Raul said, you guys have to think about what you want, right? If it's a long-term investment for you, we don't think you have much to really worry about. If it's a short-term play and you're kind of gambling your money, you shouldn't be gambling it in the first place. You should only be investing where you can afford to lose. So that's what's going on in the crypto world right now. I will say, though, it was pretty cool that Coinbase came out and the CEO of Coinbase said that we are a public company. This should give you some type of comfort, right? He's saying we are a public company. We have Big Four auditors coming in and auditing our books for us. If you guys don't know, Big Four is basically the largest accounting firms in the world that are coming in and checking what's going on to make sure it's actually right? So they have auditors coming in, they're following all the regulations, and he is even saying we're doing the right thing, right? So it's not all crypto exchanges that are bad. It's just, unfortunately, FTX was on the wrong side of things. So that's all I gotta say about that.
And the thing is, sometimes you don't really know that they're bad until things hit the fan already. So the safest way, without having to trust anybody, is to literally put your crypto on a ledger. And we have a ledger available for you in our link tree. Please check the link in our description, because we have a ledger available for you. That way your crypto is safe. Everything going on in the crypto world right now, me and Newski both are like low-key chilling, because we're like, yo, our crypto is safe and sound on a ledger. It cannot, when you have your crypto on a ledger, that means you own the crypto. You have to own it. When it's on an exchange, you don't own it. A perfect example is FTX. It was on an exchange, and once FTX goes bankrupt, so does your crypto. It's gone, quote unquote, your crypto, right? It's only yours on a ledger. So get that ledger using a link in the description.
It's like a house, if you really think about it. That might be a good example. Like when you're paying a mortgage to a house, it's not really your house yet, right? Like the bank could seize it away if you don't pay on time. So it's not that you're not paying on time with the crypto, but you don't own your crypto. They exchange. When I say they own it. So that's why you have to, if your mortgage is paid off and you own it fully, your home is yours. But now crypto, if it's on the ledger, it's yours. So just wanted to point that out. But let's move on to the next topic, bro. What you got?
Yeah, so the next thing is Donald Trump may be back.
Yeah.
Donald Trump may be back in office, my brother. What do you have to say about that?
So there's not really much, right? Because I don't want to dive into politics here. This is not a political show, but I do want to say something, because I was doing my research, right? And yo, just look at this tweet right now, right? So Donald Trump may be announcing his campaign for president as soon as next week. Okay. If and when he does, let's make sure New York doesn't have an election denying Trump ally as governor. All right. So if you guys don't know, Kathy is, we're on a first name basis, obviously, but Kathy is the governor of New York, right? So to me, And a lot of people are saying that Trump is coming for president. There's other articles that we actually looked up, so I'm going to share this with you guys so you guys know what's happening. But Fox News came out and says that, let's just go right here. Trump is expected to announce a third run right here for president on Tuesday. So obviously this is releasing on Monday. You guys are watching this right now. So as early as tomorrow, he could be out and saying that he's running for president. Before we dive into, once again, I want to make sure we are not a political channel, so we're not going to talk about politics, but let's talk about what we think is going to happen with the economy if he runs for president. So I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even the stock market will react positively to that news because a lot of times, like, bigger money wants him in office because they feel like he'll end up helping them get more profits. So, to be honest, it could potentially be bullish for markets. What do you think?
Yeah, so I was going to say, right, if you think about it, Donald Trump he's very good with his words. That's one thing he always seems to finesse and like have a control over people's minds. So when he was running for president last, if you guys remember, he was actually saying that if I do not get presidency, the economy will fail, the market will fail. We're kind of seeing that right now, right? And that's because he is very on the side of let's help out businesses. Let's figure out a way that we can have tax loopholes. Because at the end of the day, guys, like, he runs businesses. And even though he's the president and he can't actually run the business himself, what makes you think his family can't do it? Right? Like, so those are things that I think about, like, when I really think about what's going to happen. I think the market will be bullish. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to interest rates, inflation. That's still going to be a huge force in it. But Donald Trump running for president will be interesting because I think we're going to have a huge switch up in taxes once again. So that would be my take.
I will also add on because you mentioned inflation. The thing is that could actually end up working in a different way on inflation, right? Because you know how he's hard. So you know how, like, Trump is hard on immigration, right?
Yep.
Like, you know how he doesn't want immigrants, and us not having immigrants in the country has actually been potentially raising inflation.
No, I heard that take. I actually did hear that. Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of the inflation numbers, when you look into it, food prices, for example, is a huge, like, thing that we can't get over to bring inflation down. And a lot of, like, agricultural workers, the people who are, like, in that industry are complaining about just their staff shortages and people not wanting to work those jobs. And ultimately it leads to higher food prices. And that also just impacts every industry in total, in general, right? So a lot of the, almost, you could say, like, jobs that a lot of traditional citizens who grew up here don't want to work.
Yep.
Now that even if they work them, they're demanding more money, which ends up coming back to the consumer because we end up paying more money because at the end of the day, the companies are going to want to meet their bottom line.
Yeah, like I was just about to say, like, at the end of the day, consumers will always get hurt. So the immigration point is definitely valid because I can't remember where I actually was reading on this. But it's true. Like, if you think about it, it sounds bad to say, but immigrants will do any job, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll do it for the lowest wages possible. So yeah, I mean, it's a valid point for sure.
It's true, bro. They don't come in with the same mindset. A lot of Americans are spoiled, and immigrants a lot of times come over here with a mentality that they want to work. So they're willing to do those jobs that we're not willing to. And then that actually eases inflation because they can help bring prices back down. But if Trump continues to be hard on immigration, we're going to have a hard time bringing that down because that's one of the biggest chunks of inflation right now that we can't get over. So
yeah, and that's why I'm excited to kind of figure out what he's about to say because I want to see how the markets react. But speaking of inflation, speaking of interest rates earlier, let's talk about what the Fed said, bro. And then let's see how that is actually impacting other tech firms like Amazon, right? So once again, going back to screen share for you guys, basically it's not the best news. It's really just not the best news for you guys, right? So right now we had Feds basically come out and say, sorry about that one, but basically the Fed come out and say we still got ways to go before the U.S. central bank stops raising interest rates, despite good news from the consumer prices last week, right? So what does that mean? We saw inflation numbers go down, right? Like they went down, but just remember, this does not mean that all of a sudden prices are going to go down. That's not what it means. It just means prices are not going up as high as they were last month. That's all it means. They're still going up. They're not at the rate we want. So what does that mean? It means that the Fed is considering a 50 basis point hike at the next meeting in December, right? Or the one after. And the one after that, I believe, is February 1st. So there's a lot that goes on. And with the interest rates going up, right, it's clearly not a good thing, because we saw 4 straight hikes of 75 basis points. It's right here for you guys. That's very aggressive, right? Because of that, what ends up happening? There's a lot of people that are saying a recession is coming, right? On average, economists put the probability of recession in the last 12 months, in the next 12 months, at 63%. That's up from 49% in July, right? This is the most crazy part. Bloomberg says that recession is within 100%, like just 100. There's not 99.9. There's no like maybe. No, just flat out we're hitting it. Now, what does that mean? It means layoffs are happening, right? So we already talked about Meta before. We talked about Stripe before. We talked about a bunch of different companies like Better.com, all that. Amazon just came out today. Like, this is why you gotta like and comment and subscribe to this channel, guys, because we give you guys the updates right away. This just happened. Amazon is cutting approximately 10,000 people. 10,000 people are getting cut off. And just think about it. Bro, if you can help me out, bro, what's one of the biggest things that happened in November, bro, when it comes to shopping?
Well, you talking about Christmas, right?
No, in November. Black Friday.
Oh, Black Friday. Facts. That's a fact.
Right?
That's a
so
fact.
Think about it. So if Black Friday's coming up, and then we know that Christmas is coming up, we know Hanukkah's coming up, we know a bunch of different things are coming up in December. Holiday season's there. Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world, right? They usually hire people during this time period because they have so much demand. But no, they're deciding to cut people. So what does this let you think? Like, it's basically saying, yo, we rather survive as a company than worry about profits. And why is that? This is the most shocking thing when I was going through this article. Right here, Amazon experienced a slight rebound in the latest quarter, but it has cautioned investors that growth could weaken again, possibly fall to its lowest pace since 2001. Bro, 2001, 2 decades. Just think about that. So, in my opinion, this is really spooky. I think it's worse because if these big companies are doing that, what do you think the small companies are doing? So, let's just talk about that before we wrap everything up.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So, like, to me, that just shows you that these interest rate hikes that Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve did is really starting to settle in. Things are finally starting to turn over. I mean, like we mentioned, he's done 4 75 basis point hikes this year. We've only had 1 in history, and he's done 4 in 2022 alone. So that shows you the magnitude of how aggressively he's moving. And so right now, investors are just kind of worried about how long will he keep extending these rate hikes for, because he has a target rate that he wants to get to, but he's moving at a very quick pace to get there. Right now, it seems that if inflation starts to ease, like the last inflation print came out and showed that things are easing up a little bit. It seems so far. So maybe he'll slow down, but at the end of the day, the damage has been done. And you don't feel the effects of rate hikes until between 6 to 9 months after they officially come out. So we're the first hike, we pretty much just now feeling the effects of the first hike. We still got 3 more 75 basis point hikes to feel in the economy because it takes a while to trickle in. So in 2023, we're going to really feel that damage. Amazon is just the first of many companies, big and small, that's going to have to take hits.
That's a fact. And just think about it, right? I remember reading this actually, that they're aiming to, when I say the Fed is aiming to actually have the interest rate about 4.5. Right now, if I believe, we're at 3.75. So they are looking at 0.5, right, for this December. And then in February, if they do 0.25, we land at that magic number of 4.5. Just listen to what Rella just said. When an interest rate happens, it takes some time for it to kick in, right? For us as consumers to feel the effects and the business to feel the effects. So I'm going to let you think about what you want on this one, but it's getting spooky out here. So make sure you protect yourself. Make sure you actually are, if you're still watching, make sure you click the link below and get that ledger. Remember, this is 100% safe. I want to let you guys know this because if you own your crypto, you're good to go. If the exchanges own your crypto, you're not good to go. It's simple as that.
And don't get your ledger from Amazon because
Or
hackers
Google.
do bug
Or Google.
or Google. Anyway, yes, you have to get it from the official site, which we have in our description, right? Because if you get it from those sites, they bug out the ledgers and they will steal your crypto immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Them hackers are smart. Get it from the official site that we provided for you.
That's a fact. But that wraps up today's episode. We appreciate you guys. If you're still watching, thank you very, very much. As always, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week.
And you don't want to miss them. We got a fire episode coming for you on Wednesday. But until then, peace.
Peace.
Soundstripe.